Welcome to another episode of eThekwini Matters podcast. I'm your host, Simpiwe Dlamini. Today we are joined by the head of City Integrity and Investigations Unit, Mr. Thulani Ntobela. Mr. Ntobela, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Mr. Ntobela, please tell us about your unit, City Integrity and Investigations Units. What are some of your responsibilities?
Well, the responsibilities of the City Integrity and Investigation Unit is to promote the protection of human rights, to promote the integrity, the safeguarding of the integrity of the city, and also to investigate all types of misconducts, crime, maladministration, whatever that is reported to us. The city integrity is has got two sections, the onboard section as well as the investigation section. We are guided by the fraud strategy that is built on 4 pillars. The prevention that is aimed at internal and external, where we do knock and drops for employees to sensitize them on ethical behavior, as well as external, where we have awareness campaigns for the community as well as the councillors on declaration of interest, those small things. Yes. Then detection, which is another pillar, is about whistleblowing. And all types of information that comes to the office. They will report, indicate that a crime is being committed at a certain place, then we respond. Then the third pillar will be investigation. Investigation, we've got people that are focusing on serious misconduct as well as serious crimes. And then we have people that are investigating ordinary theft, like infrastructure theft. Then the last pillar will be resolution, where we try by all means to resolve all the queries that the community complain about, like overbilling of services, boundaries encroaching. So we go and mediate between the neighbors in terms, and get the people, the relevant unit, to go and see if the boundaries been built on another person's property. So then we follow up to see if it has been properly resolved.
I think you've just touched on some of the cases that you guys are actually investigating. Can you please expand on that so that someone watching at home will have an idea what sort of cases can they come and report to you?
Yeah, anything that is affecting either property, personal, like abuse of power, obviously will have a negative towards the employee, because now that employee feels that because the senior is above the law, then that person will only come to us because they believe that we can intervene. Sometimes we take cases that are not even supposed to come to us, like a normal grievance. If at face value you see that this person was not even supposed to have come here, because he's supposed to follow the normal grievance processes. But mostly these serious will be corruption, where people will report that so and so has been doing work for, especially in this plumbing sections, where people will report the same meter has been broken or water leaking, but that we find that that meter belongs to 10 houses. Yeah, so those are the types of things that get reported. Yeah.
So, but do you also just sit in the office and wait for people to come to you, or do you also initiate investigations on your own?
Yes, if there's anything negative about reported in the media about eThekwini, we just start investigating up until we get to the bottom of it. But we don't wait for people to report things that affect the integrity of the city. But for other crimes, obviously, we will wait for people to report.
So what sort of expertise your team has in terms of being able to do these investigations? Do you have do you call them police, or do you call them detectives? Do you call them forensic investigators? What sort of expertise do they have?
Hey, we have different expertise in the office. Mostly the people that are there would have worked for in private sector, like PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMGs, and Ernst & Young, all those big companies. And most of them must have, or we help those that don't have ACE, which is it AFE, which is a accredited fraud examiner.
Okay.
Yeah, so those courses they are provided by private sector. So we assist those that have not acquired those type of accreditations. But mostly it will be a person with a background of investigation.
Okay.
Could have been working for commercial branch investigation in the SAPS or any other environment. But we will never take you if we have not have those type of qualifications. Yeah.
So, but in order for you, Mr. Ntobela, to investigate these cases, you'll need whistleblowers. So when I report to you, do I have to be anonymous, or am I protected in some way or the other if I come and report a matter to you guys?
Yeah, it can come in two phases. A person will be saying, I'm sick and tired of this corruption. I was there when this offense was committed, and I want to give my testimony to say how it happened, where it happened, and I'm not scared. I will be a witness.
You're talking about the brave ones now.
Yes, the brave ones. Then we'll have those who will be saying, I'm sick and tired of this corruption, but I don't want my name to be mentioned. And they will give you all the details of how the crime was committed, and tell you exactly where you can find certain documentation. Then obviously that person will remain anonymous. And then we get those that report through whistleblowing that don't want to be mentioned. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So how do people get hold of you if they want to report these cases? Do they call? Do they walk in? What is the procedure?
Yeah, we have a toll-free number which is 0800 20 20 20. Then we have the office number that is circulated in the posters, which is 031 311 4002. Then sometimes people walk into the office there at the Rennes 10th floor, or else they send emails to ombuds@durban.gov.za.
Okay. And then let's talk about the success rate of the department now. Are you able to give us maybe a figure of how many cases we have successfully investigated in the past year or two, so that we can see the impact of this department?
That's a success is a difficult word.
Yeah.
to because our success depends on how the people take our recommendations forward. Because for us to say we have made some findings, we've made some recommendations, is not a success if the perpetrator is not put to jail. if the perpetrator is still an employee, is not been dismissed, or no remedial steps were taken. So it remains, it remains an unsolved as far as we are concerned when it comes to success, because we can't pat ourselves on the back to say we have successfully investigated this particular case when the person who must implement has not implemented the recommendations. So it depends on other people.
Okay.
Yeah. But coming back to your question with regard to how many cases we've resolved, we when I started there, my focus was to try and finalize all the old cases. You know, we had cases of 2017, 2018, 2019, and the serious or negative impact those cases have is it does not yield any results when you successfully solve them, but they have been subjected to prescription. Because now you can't go and recover the money because it's more than 3 years, you know. So that was my focus, that I've started, let's clean all the backlog so that now we can focus on the current and the future. Yeah. That's a strategy that we're implementing now.
But are you winning in that regard?
Yes, I can confidently say that we've dealt with 2017, 2018. We're almost halfway with 2019. Hopefully, by end of January next year, all the 2019s will be cleared. Then we'll be left in the 20s. Yeah.
So you mentioned that it will be very difficult to measure the success of the department because your job is somehow limited in terms of the jurisdiction. Can you please expand on that? So you do investigations and then you hand over to who?
Yes, let's say let's say now we have indicated in our recommendation that so and so must be disciplined in terms of regulation, this and that and that and that and that. And then the line manager of that employee has to implement, or else what they normally do, they just maybe caution and discharge the person, or else they don't see they don't see anything wrong with that, and they say no, we can't implement this because of A, B, C, D. Yet there's overwhelming evidence, you know, and in some instances we report the cases emanating from our reports. We open the case for criminal investigation. Then the police will take long to finalize the criminal case, or else it takes long up until we even lose track of it. So we cannot be, you know, the player and the ref. So very jealously we look and cry that, hey, what our case, there goes our case. Understand? Yeah. So sometimes they even employ an employer rep and a presiding office that, by look of things, you know when you've got about 10 cases against you, there's no way that they may not find 1% negligence on your side, you know, because misconduct is on the balance of probabilities.
Yeah.
There's no way that you can just be let off just like that. Yeah. Then you find those cases like that, and you can't even appeal them, you know. Yeah.
So, but I just want to find out your relationship now with the SAPS and the prosecuting division. How's that relationship?
Yeah, well, I won't have a relationship with the prosecution because there is there's a big gap between myself as a private person and the law enforcement. So that relationship should be between the law enforcement, which is the police, and the prosecution. So what I've established is a task team with the deputy provincial commissioner of the detectives to look at certain cases of interest. You know, if I identify this person has been in our books, most of the time, if there's in that unit, there will be that person. So I collect those cases, put them together, then I go and discuss with the deputy provincial commissioner, who will assign his team to look into the matter. Because sometimes if you don't centralize those investigations, they just slip through the fingers. Yeah.
So in essence, Mr. Ntobela, your role as City Integrity and Investigations is to do investigations. You then recommend. So if it requires you to open a case, a criminal case, you'll go and then open that case. But then you leave that to the hands of the SAPS to then continue. Am I summarizing that correctly?
Yeah, no, most of the time, when we report to the police, is because we need information of which we can't get because of our powers. Yeah. For instance, if they've paid a wrong supplier, I need to know who is that supplier who benefited unduly. And in order for me to get that information, I must go to and report a case so that the police, who are empowered to apply for Section 205 in terms of criminal procedure, can go to the bank and subpoena the bank to give them that information. So now I'm forced to work with the police so that I can also get into the nitty-gritties of my case as well. Yeah.
I want us to get into the Fraud Awareness Week that we are currently on. What is the purpose of this Fraud Awareness Week, and what is that you're hoping to achieve with it?
Yeah, it's to sensitize the community about fraud, and also to, pleading for assistance, because without the community, we cannot solve anything. So if one researcher said about 5% of the global revenue goes to fraud, you can imagine now how much money is being lost. Yes. Now, the legal that the community can do is reporting this type of frauds, because they know that they will know that the company so and so does not even belong to that person; it belongs to the employee. Yeah. So those type of information help us with prevention. So this week we've got programs on awareness campaigns that we are directed at the communities, as well as internal. On the 29th of November, we have the big fraud conference, where we invite all business people, ordinary people, and law enforcement, and we'll have speakers that will be talking on the subject of fraud.
Ntobela, thank you very much for joining us today. Maybe you can just give us the contact numbers again on how people can reach you if they want to report cases of fraud and corruption.
Yeah, the toll-free number is very easy. It's 0800 202020. Thank you.
Well, that's all we had for you this week. Do join us next week for another exciting edition of eThekwini Matters podcast. Have a good evening.